Hi my loves. So before we get into this video, I need to say a thing or two. This video was supposed to be the third video. The first video was supposed to be the second video, but I think I mentioned it in the previous video with the copyright in, finding out which parts get cut out, and that was 90% of the second video, right? Which was the first, I'm not even gonna say like that. The first video I posted, 90% of it got cut out. That's why I didn't not end up doing a two-part, because when I got to the second part of the video, like I showed you guys, 90% cut out. And I'm gonna insert an image here, right here. 90% of the first video I filmed, copyrighted. So yeah, I'm slowly starting to remember like where a lot of that discouragement came from. Just filming, editing, uploading, only to find out that the video is blocked and you have to edit out 90% of it, which is a lot of the content and material. So you're really left with nothing. With that being said, instead of scrapping everything all together and going back to this, you know what, no, I don't want to do it, this is annoying, we're gonna work with what I have. I'm gonna work with what I have. So the videos are not in order. We're gonna do this and get on track with better videos that are not copyrighted, so we don't lose 50% of the material. That's insane. But let's get into the video, you guys. Sorry. What's up, beautiful people? I'm Jamelia, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. To my returning subscribers, welcome back. Welcome back. We're on what, video 4? I am doing these back to back because after this, I'm gonna go do my homework. I have 2 essays due on Sunday. Today is what? May 30th. Today is Thursday, May 30th. So yeah, I have to get started on those, submit those in time. But yeah, today we'll be doing something a little different. We'll try. I'm probably gonna find out once I upload if this video is copyrighted, so I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. And her name is Rebekah. I found her channel watching I can't remember who, but they were reacting to all things spooky. They did a TikTok compilation and her TikTok popped up. Rebekah's Journey. I also found her YouTube channel and I binged everything. She posted a video 2 hours ago. This is gonna be a 2-part. A spell ruined her life, and I think she's telling someone else's story. So let's get into it, you guys. Why do people do these spells? And here we go.
Strap in, besties, because we have another story time.
And if you're into all things spooky, I'd recommend subscribing to her channel. She's amazing.
Okay, I know what I said before, like that I was gonna drop 2 videos, but like, I'm sorry. There's been a lot going on this side. Today we have a submission. So most of these stories are submitted stories, so let's just get straight into it. Somebody submitted this. I'm gonna call the person who submitted the story Rose, okay? Okay, so growing up, she always had dreams and visions of things that would actually happen. Psychics and voodoo priests were basically in her family. They ran very heavy in her family. So she's been blessed to be able to have certain visions of things happening and things that will happen before they actually happen. So she would have visions warning her before things actually take place. Okay. So some form of psychic. She said she would have dreams that warn her about anybody that she dates and show her their problems and flaws. So one day around the age of 26, which took place last year, she paid a visit to this voodoo priest. They called him Papa. He had bluish puddle looking eyes that glow a little bit, and he looked white, but he was kind of like Irish and Jewish. So he was born with a veil over him. Okay. I don't really know exactly what that means, but Rose described this priest as having some form of a veil over Papa, the priest.
If any of you guys watching knows what that means, please comment down below, because when I think of the veils, right, it's like I'm not even gonna try to explain that.
He knew he would be a witch. So the veil, I guess, would signify that he would be a witch. Usually that's what that means, apparently. So Rose pays this man $500 for her visit. And she expected good outcomes for money, success, and protection. So this man went on. So basically, she went to this priest, right? Okay. She says, I need money, protection, wisdom. I need all the great things. So she goes to Papa and she gives him $500. And of course, if you're giving somebody $500 and if they were initiated or if they were born a priest, then of course you're going to trust them. Of course, you know. So the priest went on and took 5 images of Rose. This is very important. Which when she went, she got the pictures printed. Which after he took the pictures, she went and got the pictures printed and gave it back to him so that he can do his work. Okay. So basically, she went. So he took the pictures. She went, got them printed, brought it back to the priest, and then the priest got the pictures and got to work. Yeah, got that. So basically, the priest winds up giving her like these bags of powder. It's there basically to protect her. So when she keeps those bags with her, then she knows that she has guaranteed protection. And he had also given her 4 of those bags. Okay. So she put one in her car, she put one in her living room, and she put the other 2 in her room. And basically, Papa instructed her not to get them wet. She doesn't know why, but the priest literally could not stress on do not get those bags with the sand wet. Just don't get it wet. And he also instructed her to bathe with some Frankenstein oil. Now, I'm not really familiar with Frankenstein oil, but I've heard a lot about it. So the priest tell her, like, you have to bathe with the Frankenstein oil. This is important. And some other oils, but, you know, she didn't do it. She said that basically the oils were there to basically invite positive spirits. So the scent of the oils is supposed to attract, like, these positive, good spirits to Rose. Okay. And she fully didn't do it. So keep that in mind. Okay, Rose says because she didn't take her time to actually do each step that the voodoo priest told her to do, she thinks that that might be the reason why a lot of the spells winded up falling through. Let's get into it.
First of all, I want to give Rose a thumb. This might be a 3-part video. I don't know. Because it's 23 minutes. I'm trying to figure that out. But Rose, Rose, you gotta follow directions.
Did I just let a ghost inside of my room? Did y'all hear the crazy? Okay, so soon later after that, she would notice that things started just going wrong around her. Like a lot would happen around her. So she said she was in fact very protected though. The protection spell worked. She stayed in trouble for years, okay? Rose was constantly getting in trouble. And the second she got those bags, she was protected. She managed to stay out of trouble the entire time. Okay. So she said for years, and the moment she got the spell, she wasn't noticing any trouble cops. Like, they wouldn't turn their lights on behind her, or even if the cops would turn the lights on, like, they would drive straight past her car. It was never anything to do with Rose. She said she would even, like, she said she knew she was so protected that she would take these crazy risks, i.e. running red lights. She would run full-on red lights and cops would not stop her. She would not get tickets. Nothing was happening to Rose. So she said, no doubt, that the protection spell worked. The whole reason for her getting the spell was because people in her area were trying to kill her. So she would get into these shootouts where she was barricaded or surrounded by enemies, where she was the only one driving her car. And these motherfuckers were basically shooting up at the car while Rose is just speeding through and just driving past, but trying to avoid the bullets from, you know. But so that was the whole reason that she got that in the first place, okay? Was because she had people that were trying to unalive her. So she said basically the enemy shot at her car at the time 9 times, and she said till this day you can see the bullet holes in her car. So she said it was a good thing that day she dropped off her son right before it happened, because the bullets went through the car seat too. So good thing that her son wasn't there. And it's also a good thing that while they were shooting at her car, she didn't duck, because had she ducked, the bullet would have went straight through and it would have penetrated, and that would have been the end for Rose. So after that traumatic shootout with enemies and people trying to get her, it was no doubt that she was gonna go straight to a voodoo priest and order a protection spell.
Okay.
So she said,
because earlier I asked why,
but she was getting in so much trouble that she wanted one to honestly hit her at the time. She said she was fed up, but gracefully nothing happened to her. So fast forward back to the spell. One day, her dust bag that she had in the studio room that she got from the psychic man, the voodoo guy, got wet.
Didn't he say not to get it wet?
She was told under any circumstances never to get wet, got wet. Now she said the bag, okay, so basically the sand, you know, it was inside of a bag. It got wet. So then the bag that was holding the sand winded up disappearing. So she has no idea what happened to it.
Did she ever find the bag?
What happened to the bag or how it even got wet. So let's keep going. She doesn't know how the stuff got wet, but she saw ashes and water mixed on the floor in there. And this is where she records her music at. The same day that the bag happened and it got wet and everything, the same day that the sandbag got wet and all of this happened, her studio got broken into. Now keep in mind, the bag with the sand in it was the stuff that was keeping Rose protected. And this is why he said, the voodoo priest said, under any circumstances, you should not get this wet. So now, one of them that she put in her studio had gotten wet. Remember, she had gotten 4.
Yeah.
So the one in her studio got wet, it got fucked up, and for some reason, right after that happened, her studio got broken into. So she said, that same day, her studio got broken into, and money from selling and drugs got stolen, window was busted, and all she could do was file a police report. So basically, these people busted into her studio. Now, I don't know what Rose got going on, but Rose is not exactly kosher, okay? Rose had to survive a shootout. So Rose is not just your regular. Now, you can assume what Rose be doing for a living, okay? She's not one of us. She be selling you know what I'm saying? Like, you're picking up what I'm putting down. She's not just selling the soft stuff. She's selling the hard, illegal substances that gets people
like Snowfall.
So she said that day when her studio got broken into, they stole all the drugs that she had, probably illegally, in her studio. They also stole all the money that she made from the paraphernalia, and they also broke her window. So now when we think about money, financials, and how much it's gonna take for Rose to actually get back on her feet,
it feels almost impossible.
So she said all she could do was file a police report, which she did. And she knew who did it. That was the part. Rose knew who did it, who broke into her studio, who did everything. So she said, after that though, her life just started falling apart. After that spell, her life just started going downhill. Which one day, she cussed at God. She got so angry that she started to yell and cussing at God. And I don't know if you've ever been frustrated like that, but I sure have. And she had reached her broken point where she would walk outside, storm out there, and just start going at God and giving God her absolute worst.
Rose.
She said she yelled at him for bad luck and stuff just kept happening to her. And her dumbass blamed God. Because God is supposed to be the one to show her love. It's supposed to be the one to show her forgiveness and, you know, have patience with her. But she had felt like in that moment, God really turned his back on her. So as she's yelling, she's asking God to, she's asking God to show her sign. To show her a sign that he loves her. As she's yelling, she asks God, you know, God, if you love me, show me a sign. Boom, fast forward, the next day. The next day, she said maybe she had...
You guys, I'll end the video here. I didn't even realize how much time we had left, and we'll get straight into part 2. We'll just end it right here. I know I usually do my thank you and I got y'all in part 2. We're gonna end this a little differently.